Hello, Internet. Firstly, I should say, a bit of change of scenery for this, mainly because I just wanted something to differentiate the vlogs and the reviews. So, more than likely, I'll be doing the movie vlogs here and the reviews in the original location. Anyway, now, some of you will probably be asking, what the fuck am I doing going to see a Twilight film? Because I'm not a Twilight fan. In fact, I fucking hate Twilight, and I've only ever watched Twilight with riff tracks, which you should all do. But there are two very good reasons why I went to see this. First of all, I went to see this because franchises are kind of my thing. If you don't know, I review any kind of movie franchise, and I intend to. I haven't got many up yet, but I intend to do Twilight as well. So you can look forward to that. It's not coming anytime soon though, because everybody's fucking doing Twilight, and I want to at least wait at least a year before I do that. So I will do it eventually, but not anytime soon. The second reason I went to see this is because if this movie is going to be the final crescendo of shit that I thought it would be, if it's going to go out with such a catastrophic bang, I want to be there. And it did not disappoint. I can tell you that. Holy shit, it didn't disappoint. First of all, major spoilers, because I don't give a fuck. So if you really care about this movie, first of all, what the fuck are you doing here? Well, anyway, if you really care about this movie, don't watch this review, because it's going to have major spoilers, major spoilers, because that's what I'm going to be mostly talking about. So if you don't want to see any of that, go away. Right. First of all, I should say, if you dislike Twilight, if you have never even seen a Twilight film, you should probably go see this, because this is a pretty fucking amazing film. And probably not in the way the filmmakers intended either, because, oh my god, the problems with this film, my god. Okay, I'm just going to go through it from what I remember. Okay, so obviously it's based on the last third, I think, of the book. So it's very similar to the second part of the Harry Potter movie, the seventh one. It's all ending, you know? But even then, they pad the shit out of it. I mean, it's nowhere near as boring as the last part, which was a fucking godsend, I must admit. But there's still nothing happens. Nothing happens. And I'm not being funny here. Literally, nothing happens, and intentionally, nothing happens. And I will explain that a bit more in a bit. But for the first majority of the film takes place. See, first of all, it's about them with the baby, which, by the way, I should mention, that baby is fucking evil. I don't know why they chose to make a CGI animatronic baby, but that was fucking scary. That was the scariest thing in this film. Holy shit. I don't know why they just couldn't get a normal baby. That was bizarre. But anyway. So yeah, it's taking place after that. Bella's a vampire now, like we give a shit. And the baby's doing the thing. And yeah, Kristen Stewart. She was a lifeless, mopey cow in all the other films. So now it's really strange, because she's actually trying not to act that way, and it's so much worse. It's terrible. Like her anger, I don't believe it for a second. It's not angry. It sounds more like a petulant teenager, which she kind of is. The first thing that sort of happens is Bella realizes what she can do, and Edward takes her out to hunt. Yeah, that's almost the very first thing she does, which kind of perplexed me because she literally died for her child, and yet that's not the first thing she asks. In fact, it takes her about a few minutes to actually ask about the child. And even then, Edward doesn't let her see her. And everyone knows the bizarre relationship that they have. So, but anyway, they go hunting and they spot a deer. And Bella's like all feral and it looks really fucking stupid. And then she smells a rock climber and runs off to catch him. And it was hilarious because she smelt it, Edward smelt it, Edward goes, "No, don't," and she runs off. He could have, done something a bit more, I would have thought. I mean, it just seemed really pathetic because they clearly wanted her to do scrabbling up the mountain and everything. So Edward just sits there and lets it happen. He doesn't really do anything. She's literally this close, and even then he doesn't actually restrain her. She just says, "I need to get out of here," and then runs off. And that's it. That's the scene. And then she runs into the fucking mountain lion and tackles that to the ground, which was quite comical in the way it looked, I must admit. And that's another thing. I find it very hard to believe that the comedy that was in this film was in the book. Because there was a lot of comedy that actually made me laugh, which surprised me quite a lot. There was actually genuinely funny moments, but they were funny moments because it was making fun of the series. This is quite possibly the best Twilight parody I've ever seen, because it's ridiculous on every level. Like, there's a bit where Jacob shows Mustache Dad that he can turn into a wolf, and he does this. It's making me laugh now. And he does this by literally just stripping off in front of him. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" That was really funny. That was actually really funny. But I find it very hard to believe that was in the fucking book. I find it very hard to believe because up until now it's been deadly serious. We have to take this seriously. So if the filmmakers put that kind of humour in, they made it 10 times better. Because, like I said, it's the best Twilight parody I've ever seen. So, what else? Yeah, after everything sort of calmed down and everyone sort of got back to where they're going, and Bella and Edward are fucking like rabbits apparently, which they seem very liberal about. Everyone's talking about it like, "Oh, you finished it? Oh," and all this stuff. It's like, I don't talk like that to my parents. That's a bit odd. But anyway, and again, this is a Mormon written book as well, so that kind of doesn't really mix, but whatever, I'll leave it there. So yeah, once everybody's getting to thing, Bella's out with the child, and the vampire woman from the last movie sees the child and suspects it's a vampire child, a child that's been turned into a vampire rather than what she actually is. Which I should say also that the actress who played what the fuck was her name now? Shit. Irina, that's it. I must admit, that actress, I really don't like that actress. Mainly because no matter what she's in, she constantly looks like she's got a stick up her ass. And it pisses me off at how she looked pissed off at everything. She didn't have a single positive emotion throughout the entire time she was there. Not that I remember. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. She dies anyway. So anyway, she goes to the Volturi, which, of course, we have Michael Sheen. Michael Sheen, the man of the hour, the most fantastic actor in these films, because he clearly does not give two shits that he's in this, and he plays it Oh, it's just wonderful. The way he plays it. There is no one else who could play it that bad. And this is an award-winning actor. So he knows he's playing it shit. He knows he's in a shit movie. But he wants to make sure people know it. So I have no problems with his performance. No problems. The other two, they're dead serious, and they think they're in bloody Hamlet. So fuck those guys. Michael Sheen, you're the man. Not that he's watching. So anyway, so yeah, the Volturi find out from Irina, and they go to kill the Cullens. This happens in, it felt like the first 20 minutes that the Volturi find out about this, and then that's it. Nothing happens until the climax, because it's all just preparing for the climactic battle at the end. And from the trailers, you know, oh, everyone's running in the snow and there's fighting. I got something to say about that later. So yeah, nothing happens, literally. There's just people going, talking to other people, and we find out all about these vampires with different magical powers, and it felt more like an X-Men film than a fucking Twilight film. Seriously, there's a guy who can control the weather. There's another woman with lightning abilities or something, I don't know. It made it look like she had orgasm hands. But anyway, it felt very X-Men, especially when they all sort of stand in a line in the ice field or whatever it was. It looks like X-Men. Not that I'm saying that's a bad thing, because let's be honest, if anything needed to be in the Twilight films was a bit more fucking action. And I'm not talking about action from the other movie, it was either New Moon or Eclipse, I can never fucking remember, where they had that stupid werewolves versus the vampires thing. That was shit. That was a shit fucking battle. With the crappy music and the pointless characters, and it was terrible. Choreograph was crap. So that is something they really needed. A better fight scene. A proper fight scene. Because let's be honest, these are immortal vampires with powers to... They throw fireballs at each other. They should be fighting. But now, I should say, if you've read the book, you know what's going to happen. And what happens in the book does happen in the movie. Almost exactly. But with only one minor change. And the minor change is, and this surprised me, was when the Volturi come and they stand in a line and they start talking, like they do in the book, from what my understanding is. And it's the way this conversation goes is quite hilarious. Because, first of all, the Volturi arrive and they go, "We are going to kill you, Cullens, because you broke the law." Okay? And then Carlisle comes out and he goes, "We didn't break the law." Okay? And then the Volturi go, "Okay, explain." They explain, and the Volturi go, "Oh, you didn't break the law. She dies." Okay? That is exactly the same as the book. Boring as fuck. Now in the book, everyone goes, "Huh, okay, that was fun. Bye." And everybody leaves. But not here. Here, and this was quite genius in its own way. What was his name? Arrow, Michael Sheen's character. He turns to his massive congregation, and he gives this really feeble battle speech. This Lord of the Rings, this ain't. And essentially, the speech boils down to, they didn't break the law, but fuck it, we're evil, we're going to kill them anyway. And that's exactly what they do. Which, again, surprised me. First, they take Alice, because something was set up earlier that they wanted her because he hasn't got a vampire with her abilities. Okay, whatever. Okay, and that causes Carlisle to run in and jump at Arrow. and this was quite hilarious. He jumps at Arrow, they jump in the middle air, and Arrow rips his fucking head off. And it was hilarious. Because he's just got his head there, and then they satellite to his body, and he's dead. He's literally fucking dead, which was fantastic. You know, Blandy McBland, the guy who dies first. Fantastic. And who else dies? Oh yes, Harpo. They kill Harpo. Again, with I called it the judo chop decapitation. Because I think the vampires can only die with being decapitated and torn apart. So it was basically a giant battle of how hilarious can we make a decapitation. And one of the fucking best decapitations was one of the vampires grabbed another one by the jaws and literally ripped his head off. That was gruesome as fuck too. They didn't shy away from that, but because there's no blood, they can get away with it. And yeah, this battle is fucking amazing. And I never thought I'd say that in a Twilight film. Seriously. There's fireballs, lightning, you know, a guy punches the ground and a chasm opens with lava. I don't even think you can do that in Washington. But yeah, it's amazing. Dakota Fanning gets fed to a wolf. That's fucking amazing. You know, and there's and the main Volturi guys, they all go in one by one and get killed. All of them eventually die, and then Arrow fights Bella and Edward, and he gets completely torn apart and then set alight, and then it's a fucking dream. Yes, it's a vision. The thing didn't happen. The best battle scene in all of Twilight didn't happen. I literally went fucking apeshit. I almost shouted, "What? What the fuck did you just do? You just ruined it." I was so close to saying this was a great film. For its stupid moments, for his hilarious moments. None of this was what the filmmakers intended either. Because it was... There's so many ridiculous moments that were supposed to be taken seriously, but they were just crap. But yeah, it was a vision given to Arrow by Alice to convince him to not fight because he would die. And you're sitting there like, what the fuck? At that point, I just went, fuck it, I'm done. That's it. Oh my god. That was the biggest jumping the shark moment I've ever seen in my life. I don't even know if that counts as jumping the shark, but I'm going to say it does. Holy shit. So yeah, that's essentially the movie. Nothing happens, big battle scene, that doesn't happen, and then it just carries on with the book. Alice brings out the person that for some reason has never been mentioned or even referenced before, and he convinces the Volturi that the kid, whatever her name is, isn't a threat. You know? And yeah. But you can clearly see that the filmmakers knew they couldn't make a good movie out of what the book had. If you went with the book exactly, that would have been a really boring fucking film. Oh my god, that would have been boring. But the battle scene made it so much better. But they just ruined it. There's not much to say about that, really. That's just that kind of encapsulates everything about what Twilight is, really. So much missed opportunity. And this is just a perfect example. But yeah, that's the plot. But I should talk about a few more things that made me question why this is considered good. Because, first of all, the bit that sticks in my mind is when they're going to find other vampires. The big bulky guy, whatever his name is, Emmett, I think it was, and his girlfriend. They go off and they find I can't remember the actor. I recognise the actor, but I don't know his name. But they find some guy, and he's in the process of attacking a human. And because they're the good guys, I would have thought, stop him. But no, they literally stand there while this other vampire tears the human apart. Yeah, I really like you as a character. Thanks for that. I mean, I know because they have red eyes, we know they've fed on human blood, but we see one kill someone. Okay? Why do I need to care about this guy? I don't care. Why is he any better than the Volturi in that case? And the fact that our main heroes stood there and let it happen, yeah. Why should I give a fuck about these characters? Seriously. So yeah, that was another thing. And as they're bringing all these other vampires in, it felt kind of pointless because they're not really characterized. I think only, like 2 are actually given anything more character outside of their actual vampire power. Like, there's these Amazon vampires who can make you see whatever they want. But that was the only character they had. I don't even think they had a line. So that was fucking pointless. What else was there? There was more annoying. I think it might have been Iran or Turkey or somewhere in the Middle East where they got this Middle Eastern vampires. And he was he was Storm, basically. And again, from what I understand, I mean, he had lines, so he was better than the others, but that was his only character. I think his other character was that he wanted to defy his parents or something. So yeah, there was not much character to these people. Like I said, there was only 2 that actually had any character. And there was the 2 blonde women who I think are related to the woman who went to the Volturi, and she was the one with the electric orgasm powers. But again, she was there so she could use her electricity in certain situations, like to teach Bella to use her shield thing. Yeah, that's why she had those powers, and it just felt so false. It was like pointless. And then one of the vampires, they get together just like that, because he's basically like, I like you because you hurt people or something, and that was their only character. Ironically, the ones with the most character, I don't even think we know their powers. There's one guy who looks kind of like a hobo, and he likes to sleep in the attic or something. Yeah, I don't think we find out his ability, and he was quite well characterized as this kind of nihilistic against this whole thing, and I don't even know why he was there. He just really didn't give a fuck. And yeah, and the other guy was there just so he could fall in love with his other vampires, so we'd have more dramatic things in the climax battle, which didn't happen. So yeah, my mind keeps going back to this battle because that's just so fucking ridiculous. But anyway, some of the good bits I felt were good because they were quite hilarious. Like, we see a flashback of the Volturi killing an immortal child, an actual child that has been turned into a vampire. And it's just like how they take its creator, this woman, and they tear her apart, and it's all, oh, we're supposed to be so scared of these foppish dandies. And Dakota Fanning's got this child, and she just whoop, throws it into a fire, which I actually found quite funny. Maybe I'm sick, but that was quite funny. The way it was just so blasé, and there was no tension, there was no intimidation, because any intimidation went out the window with Michael Sheen's performance. So, so that was, it was informative, and it gave a good reason for what they're doing. It actually explained the whole immortal child thing quite nicely, so that was good. but it was still really quite goofy. So yeah, I'm trying to think because it's difficult to think, mainly because fuck all happens until the battle. So that's why I keep going back to the battle. What else happened? Oh yeah. After Alice and Harpo leave to do their thing, I don't think it's ever really explained what the fuck they do. They give Bella instructions to go to this guy they work with in Seattle, and he gives her a passports and tickets for Jacob and the kid. That's kind of it. It was really wasted time. I know it's supposed to say, oh, look how much we care about the kid and Jacob should be together, and which is kind of creepy. But it was a waste of time. Which everything is a waste of time. Nothing actually progresses the plot before or after Irina goes to the Volturi, because it's all standing around waiting for the Volturi to turn up. And yeah, the whole passport tickets thing for Jacob and the kid was pointless anyway, because they didn't need it. If you check that bit out, it wouldn't have changed anything. Nothing would have happened, because there was no battle, there was no conflict. Everybody left peacefully. So there's just so much like that. Like, to prove Bella's strong. Like, they need proof. I mean, how long have these been fucking vampires? She has an arm wrestle with Emmett. So? Who cares? We know she's strong. Why don't you show her actually fighting or something? You know? Instead of a crappy arm wrestle that was, you know, similar to the bloody baseball scene, except the baseball scene had a point in some ways. But anyway, the more vampires show up, the most comical of which are, I can only describe them as Transylvanian, because they have that really goofy fucking accent. And it sounded really fake. I don't know if it was fake, but it sounded really fake and it sounded really goofy, and the fact that they're vampires with this accent just made the whole thing ridiculous. So, yeah. And they're the only ones who actually really want to fight the Volturi as well. Because everyone wants to leave peacefully, and when the Volturi actually do leave peacefully, they're like, come on, we can get them now, and everyone's like, fuck you. So yeah. Again, more characters wasted. Because I don't even think they did much in the battle. The imaginary battle. Yes. But, seriously, nothing else happened. Some vampires showed up, we see their powers, and that's it. Rinse and repeat until the Volturi show up. So yeah, there's not much else to say there. But in respect to the Volturi, right, and I always say this whenever I watch the Twilight films, the Volturi are clearly evil, you know? They clearly want to subjugate humanity and all this stuff. So why haven't they? They could. They make this whole thing about how, oh, humans have modern weapons that can kill us. Do they? I don't know. From what I can understand, if you take a bullet, it's just going to bounce off you. You know, what is stopping them from taking over the planet? Because they could. Because this is the problem with Stephenie Meyer's vampires that she made. They have no weaknesses. They are not weak to fire. Fire. They're weak to fire. They are weak to fire. They're not weak to sunlight, I meant. And they are practically invincible to anyone who doesn't have superhuman strength. Which is the problem. The reason why vampires work elsewhere is because they have this problem with them. They are. If you shine sunlight on them, they will die. They cannot survive in sunlight. That's why they need to be hidden. The Volturi, they don't need to be hidden. What honestly do they need to be hidden for? They have superhuman abilities that could take over the planet. Do stakes even kill them? I don't even think a stake would go through them. Because aren't they made of stone or something? So yeah, it's always baffled me. And no one seems to bring this up, not from what I've seen, that the Volturi could easily take over the planet, but they're either too lazy or too stupid. And I'm willing to say they're too stupid. Because there is nothing stopping them. And if you say, oh, it's the good vampire stopping them, so I'm pretty sure good vampires, turned up after, the Volturi are more powerful. Let's be honest. And most of the vampires there, they drank human blood. Not many vegetarian vampires. I fucking hate that phrase. Not many drink animal blood. So that is my main problem with the Volturi as bad guys. Because they suck at it really badly. There is nothing to stop them from taking over the planet. So yeah. So that's that. I mean, they have people who can cause pain just by looking at you. So, I'm moving on. Yeah. Another character I really like. I always love this character. And I'm pretty sure you know what I'm going to say. Mustache Dad. He is one of the best characters in this because he is just completely oblivious to absolutely everything around him. But he's still badass, And he's rocking that mustache as well. So yeah. And he looks really like shit as well at the beginning of this film. But before he's told about Bella or anything, you can tell this guy's been through shit. And he's been through shit through the entire films because Bella's a horrible person. People need to realise that Bella's a really horrible person. So yeah. Mustache Dad, Michael Sheen. Best characters. I don't want to miss anything out, so what else? I remember what I was going to say. Yes. From the first movie to this, there have been some characters that have slowly started to disappear. And you probably know who I'm talking about. Her friends from the first movie, they got less and less in these films. Until this one, where they're not in it at all. They're just completely ignored, completely and utterly. Which is fantastic for those actors, because they need to get the fuck out of there. Because Anna Kendrick, what the fuck was she doing in these films? Seriously. And so yeah, they're just completely ignored. The whole of humanity could be wiped out by the Volturi in this case. And there could be anarchy and pandemonium with vampires showing up. But they're not even mentioned. Nobody gives a fuck. So, yeah, thanks for putting those in. They were very useful to this story. Thanks. And yeah, another thing. In printing. In the previous films, it was explained that it's a deep bond between two people. Now, yes, that could be associated as completely platonic. However, we have seen werewolves together kissing who have imprinted. They have been together very intimately. So do not say that now, because he's imprinted with his child, it's okay. No, it's creepy. It's weird. It's just horrible. It's really bad. And the fact that you try to explain it doesn't even make any sense because we've already seen that's how it works. That's what it is. So, yeah. It didn't make any sense and it was just wrong on so many levels. I don't care how you explain it because it's not explainable. It's just weird. And I didn't like it. Because seriously, what even possessed you to write that in the book? He falls in love with the child? What? Come on. That's just... you could have actually put a thought in there and think, oh, maybe people will find this a bit creepy. Maybe I should do it when she's older. Like grown up. It's not exactly she takes that long to grow up. Yes, she's still technically I don't know, 10 years old, but at least she looks, so it's a bit more explainable. It's just creepy. The way, especially the way Jacob acts. And I believe Taylor Lautner actually brought this up as well, which Stephenie Meyer placated it and made it better. But no, you're not making this better for me. It's creepy, it's weird, and you can't explain it in any other way. I'm sorry. So on that note, we should probably wrap up. It's quite a short review, I think. I've no idea how long I've been going. But anyway, so yeah, that's my impressions of Breaking Dawn Part 2. Again, you should probably see it, because it's horrendous, but it's hilariously horrendous. And it goes out with such a turn it up to 11 bang. It's undescribable. My God. So yeah. So that's that. So yeah. So there you have it. And I shall probably see you on the next review, which will be out soon. So, see ya.